For a man who spent decades warning us about the dangers of information control and digital dependence, and let's not forget the artificial intelligence aspect.
Raiden, are you receiving? We're still here.
How's that possible? The AI was destroyed!
It is remarkable though how quickly parts of the internet started hating Hideo Kojima overnight the moment he expressed a fairly nuanced opinion about AI. Some within this community turned on Kojima's views and insights into the effectiveness and subtle purpose of AI. Despite the spotlight on the dangers in his games, it is fair to say if human ambition becomes carried away, could be the result we're clearly heading for. And it's not exactly looking great for humanity. In his view, it is a tool, and a powerful one. One that's capable of assisting with and organisations or even individuals in terms of efficiency and repetitive tasks that can lighten the workload to focus on the more creative aspects. Now, to be fair, critics are not wrong to be concerned, but however, Kojima has stated that AI struggles to create genuine original ideas because it relies on existing information. So Kojima described it as a system capable of reorganizing and remixing what already exists, rather than imagining something entirely new. Yet even so, within using it as an effective tool for research, there's no doubt, for example, it can come from other experiences or perhaps incorrect information, because AI is known to make mistakes.
I hear it's amazing when the famous purple stuffed worm in Flapjaw Space with the tuning fork does a raw blink on Harry Carey Rock. I need scissors. 61.
Then thus the art of researching oneself has really lost some meaning altogether, considering that Google, Gemini for example, and other AI softwares don't always get things right. Whether that's bad or a good thing is entirely subjective, whether it's useful or not. The question I ask is, does it really speed the process of making something creative that much faster? And if so, how effective is it really? Because AI as a tool is being used within the creative processes. And of course, people naturally notice the patterns and the soullessness. The interpretation of oneself is truly an art form that is going amiss. Most of the drama was a part of Prada or Nicholas Winding Refn's promotional art project. And of course, some critics point to examples where Kojima himself has engaged with AI-generated content. Agreeably, in this case, the AI video involving himself and Tommy Earl Jenkins is what became the ammunition for those claiming hypocrisy. And there's a clear contradiction from Kojima in this as well. Documents throughout this surrounding matter pretty much make that evident. So unless you've been living under a giant humongous ballsack, the internet is drowning in AI-generated content, or as the most popular term used by the masses, slop. It's clear that disinformation is spreading at an unprecedented scale. One just has to go on X to see the level of fake images that circulate every day, and fake videos. The shocking reality is that AI has improved so much that, it's so hard to tell what's, real and fake.
I'm not sure. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between reality and a game.
The extra finger or misplaced objects are becoming harder to spot. It's obvious a growing number of online communities have become so conditioned by the presence of AI-generated content that they will react to anything remotely associated with it, as if it were an existential threat. And the profound thing is, it literally is. It's obvious big tech companies and Silicon Valley and corporations are ironically replacing humanity to the position of irrelevancy, because they don't give a fuck about you. The very same tech that could be used effectively is being used to ultimately replace us. The deeper issues is that AI has become a cultural trigger. I guess like anything these days, anything socially or economically political. People, understandably seem more disillusioned. The world is being engulfed in far too much information that may not be correct at all. Within this shift of the times, it's like thinking has become so compressed that some of these people get triggered by anything remotely artificial. The same way gaming discourse has devolved into calling anything modern or slop and trash or woke and on-site even if it isn't. I mean, come on, we live in a negative space. It comes from the sense that the industry doesn't consistently deliver the same steady flow of standout original experiences anymore because, well, it doesn't. With remakes and, say, projects filling more of the space. The real issue is the refusal to separate someone clearly using AI as a shortcut to replace creativity and spending hours honing their craft, or from someone just simply using it loosely, as a joke and as an experiment, or just a bit of creative play without any intention of replacing the human hand behind it. Very much so like Hideo Kojima, for example, who isn't exactly fully incorporating it into his work. It's some of these small gated communities, ironically like Reddit, that have an erection for validating upvotes for either on themselves or others, exactly what MGS2 describes.
Everyone withdraws into their own small gated community, afraid of a larger forum. They stay inside their little ponds, leaking whatever truth suits them into the growing cesspool of society at large.
The different cardinal truths neither clash nor mesh. No one is invalidated, but nobody is right.
Echo chambers with herd-think mentalities. The irony of these systems is designed in such a way that the more likes or upvotes and views is the most validated, as being the accepted truth because it's popular amongst the crowd. Yet ask yourself, does it make it necessarily correct? It's obvious that there seems to be an overwhelming level of bias and lack of nuance towards this matter, in my opinion. Against Kojima, you know, the guy who spent the majority of his career when AI tech wasn't so readily available within the public, way before the internet even took off. Any creative idea or writing has always been his own creativity, inspired by, well, quite naturally, culture. It's doubtful the process of everything he has used to make brilliant games and stories over the decades, and honestly I doubt it's going to just change somehow because of a fucking post. The truth is, the moment people heard Kojima speaking positively about certain applications of AI, many immediately jumped to the conclusions, and trust me, I am no Kojima ass-kisser by any means, but the reaction of the community was way over-exaggerated and just plain shitty bullying. It's like it's just commonly accepted in society today that being negative and calling everything trash is just the popular thing to do. And of course, nowhere is this more visible than in certain gaming communities. I mean, even in MGS. And it seems to follow a pattern that has existed for years. Like when Kojima wanted to move on from Metal Gear Solid, people sent him literal fucking death threats. When Metal Gear Solid 4 attempted to conclude the story, people still bitched about it. And when he left Konami, people speculated endlessly. Then Death Stranding was announced and people mocked it and called it a walking simulator. And then years later, many of those same people suddenly decide it's brilliant, so then it is, and then the algorithm decides to push it out there because the masses think it's great. The cycle never ends, and as I've explained in my prior videos, some in the community want to govern every aspect of every individual's creativity to meet their expectations. They quintessentially become patriots themselves, the very thing they fucking hate. And the problem even extends into places like YouTube, and understandably the audience want creators who permanently reinforce their existing beliefs. That's the whole idea. That's why we connect to different content creators. The moment a creator expresses an opinion though outside these boundaries, outrage often does follow at times. What makes the AI controversy particularly strange is that many of the same people accusing Kojima of abandoning his principles seem to have forgotten what those principles actually were. MGS2 wasn't a warning about just AI, but a warning on humanity's relationship with technology and the digital society itself. This includes everyone who participates on the internet. How we respond to information, and clearly the dangers of the overly ambitious using technology like AI to control human thought and behavior.
You want to control human thought? Human behavior?
Of course.
MGS as a series showed us the problems that it had created. Humanity was no longer in control of itself, yet by the very creation it has made. Popular culture has warned of this for years. Go watch The Matrix. We are becoming accustomed to these systems, and the scary part is before long, people won't even notice the takeover that has happened. Naturally, who could not resent AI? To fully embrace it is to abolish everything that makes the creative and passionate process of what makes it such an art form is everything a machine cannot possess. Yet with that said, if culled in the right directions, there's no denying that these tools could greatly assist humanity, but to what extent and who's gatekeeping it? And how far will human ambition and greed be the destruction of all of us? It's not whenever Kojima or the fandom is ultimately right or wrong about AI, it's almost beside the point. The real issue is whenever we can still discuss these topics without immediately reaching for outrage, which seems to be the typical social dynamic between people today, both online and in society. Negativity has become the norm. The part of the reason this whole discussion frustrates me is because I've been on both sides of this. When AI first exploded into the mainstream a few years ago, and I was new to the whole YouTube world at this time, I experimented with it myself, as many others did, for some mindless fun. Like, take George Salonik, only the biggest MGS streamer on YouTube, who still uses AI voices today to make shorts and generate voices in his streams. This guy has a huge following. Aside from the point, I myself have dabbled in this technology myself as well. I used AI voice technology as well to recreate familiar characters on my early shorts on some of the guide videos. I wasn't trying to deceive anyone or use AI as a form of my art form. I genuinely thought at the time it was a good idea, and I thought people might enjoy hearing voices they recognise from the games rather than my own. Truthfully, for a while, I even put on an American accent. The word based and the meaning behind it, who comes to mind? Well, none other than Kazuhiro fucking Miller. That's right, one of the most base guys on the planet, and I'm gonna get into a demonstration. Yep, cringy as can be, until I realised I couldn't continue pretending to be someone I'm not, just to be accepted. And, admittedly it was an insecurity of mine. As a kid, I experienced what I can only describe as linguistic prejudice, and naturally, the insecurity did, start getting worse from there. But after a while, I understood if somebody dismisses my work because of my accent, then they were never the audience I was making videos for in the first place, so fuck them.
Yeah! Say that about it, fuck you! Fuck you too! Fuck you, Fred! Fuck you, 4, 5, 6, fuck, bang!
That being my authentic self was the right way to go. And with that, I stuck to my own strengths rather than relying on something to try and impress other people, including using generative content. Ironically, that's exactly why I understand the concerns surrounding AI. I was just like you.
You feel it too, don't you?
And I don't want a future where humans and, their talents and hard work are replaced by automated content, which we see a lot of these days. Each and every one of us are truly unique with just untapped abilities, and all AI is going to do is remove the need for human input, which is truly special. I mean, when I first started YouTube, my content was fucking terrible, but things do get better the more you improve. Despite the criticism against Kojima, I can completely understand it, but at the same time, I don't appreciate the bullying. And it's all these psychopathic purist gatekeeping clowns do. They seem to have to nitpick every little detail just to criticize it, to push people into submission, to validate themselves. Everyone contradicts themselves from time to time. And the internet, no doubt, has developed an unhealthy obsession with treating inconsistency as evidence of fraud rather than evidence of humanity not being perfect, or just simply experimenting. Instantly labelling people as shills, oh I know all about that one, and sellouts. We should be able to criticise without dehumanising others, and yet we do. I mean, I've made the mistake of doing it myself. Regardless of this drama, the evidence isn't substantial enough to hereby determine Kojima, who is going to turn into an AI overlord taking over the world with 61 scissors per terabyte. Sure, he is a little way too close to his Hollywood connections these days, a discussion that we'll have another day. But but yet another contradiction to what his games were trying to tell us.
You will learn how a real soldier fights. You will forget everything Hollywood taught you.
I conclude that we can't determine Kojima's character by a video game. Yes, he has placed pressing themes about humanity and the message he wants the audience to learn, but I feel as the fandom, me included, have made the mistake of identifying Kojima and his character through a video game than actual real life, where nobody is perfect. When looking through the lenses of Kojima's message on AI isn't simply just one-sided. Whilst it warns, it also tells us the effectiveness of just the systems to assist us. When you think of the magic of the digital age and the freedom to spread the word, it's machines that can serve purposes without removing ours. It's just that our society has allowed too much freedom with AI instead of respecting and prioritizing authentic art. Personally, I don't believe AI content should be allowed at all in the creative space, but it seems these companies love the financial side more than they value morality and integrity. It's recognizing the problems we face with AI and how we advocate for not allowing it to have control of us, but we have control of it. Otherwise, I fear we're heading for a world where we're going to be ruled by the Patriots and enforced by the Terminators. And I miss a world before social media and the overabundance of AI. If any of you have got some of that Fox alive, now's probably a good time to upload it to the system. Anyway guys, I want to hear your thoughts, so leave them down below, and if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and until we meet again.
I was a North American fall webworm in my past life. Ah, those were the good old days. What were you in your former life?
I used to be an anime otaku.
Oh.